Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. In 1992, a movie called Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out, and it was a horror comedy, and it did pretty well in the box office, but it gained a huge cult following when it hit VHS and stuff like that. So in 1997, they made a TV show of the movie, and the TV show kind of did its own thing. It was sort of a redo of the movie, continuation type deal. And it had probably an even bigger following than the movie itself. And they're really both the same fandom, but they're also their own fandoms. It's weird to get into. But then later on in the 2000s, Eden Studios got the rights to do a role-playing game of the TV show, and they did just that. When the role-playing game came out about the same time as the Army of Darkness role-playing game. So when they hit the store, I, of course, got the Army of Darkness game, and I went back later on to get the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game, but they were sold out, and I couldn't find it anywhere else. And I never ordered it online because every time I'd go to order books online, I'd always have something else that I want that was more of a priority to me than the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. But for Christmas this past year, my cousin got me a copy of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the role-playing game. This book has 275 pages and a copyright of 2005. It was published by Eden Studios, and all of the pictures in this book is in full color, and for the majority of it, it's just pictures from the TV show. There are some original pictures, kind of artwork, for some of the player character templates and a few of the adversaries, but for the most part, it's just pictures from the TV show. So let's go ahead and look at a few of them, I guess. All of the pictures in this book are in full color, and they consist mostly of just pictures from the TV show. But it has a large array of different pictures from the show. But the book also has some original art for some of the monsters and pre-made characters presented in this book. To play this game, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this core rule book and as many 10-sided dice as you can get your hands on. And that's it. This book has everything you need to play in what's referred to as the Buffyverse. And this book is a pretty fun read. Even if you don't intend to play the game or run the game, and you're just a fan of the TV show, this book would be a pretty good read for you. Because in the front of the book, it goes through all the different seasons. It doesn't give you a episode by episode blow, but it talks about the goings on for the season total. And it does all 7 seasons of the TV show. And there's character creation in here. And the character creation is pretty standard for the Eden Studios books. You choose a hero type first. And there are 3 hero types. There is the hero, the white hats, and the experienced hero. Just the 3. And each of them has their own set points for each aspect of the character, and it's a point buy system. So you get so many points for your attributes. Your attributes in this game are strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, perception, and willpower. And it's a 1-for-1 basis for each attribute when you spend your points, up to 5. For 6 or greater, it costs you 3 points. But 6 is the maximum limit for a normal human. And that's pretty much it for your attributes. Then you have your skills, and again, it's a point for point buy for the skills, and on up to 5, and then for 6 or above, 3 points. Same as the attributes. And each of the hero types have their own set amount of skill points to use. Then you buy advantages and disadvantages. And this is pretty neat because in the advantages and disadvantages, you have some very strange ones that let you play a whole different type of character. Like you could add a vampire template to your character and play a vampire in this game. You can add a werewolf template, a robot template, sorcerer template, which is very strange. And when you add a supernatural template, or if your character is a slayer, it discusses that in here, they can take their attributes beyond 6. Otherwise, the cap is 6. And it's pretty nifty. And for advantages, you got so many points that you can spend on advantages, and you also you have so many drawback points you can take. For each drawback you take, you get so many points to add to buy new advantages. So there's that. It's pretty neat. And that's pretty much it for character creation. Your characters also get a number of drama points to start with. Drama points are used for a number of different things in this game. And it discusses it in the book what all you can do with them. And it's stuff like you can spend a drama point to get a plus 10 to 1 roll, which is very helpful. There is another one called Righteous Fury, where if something triggers your character, you can spend a drama point, and you'll get a plus 5 on all combat rolls for the whole fight. And there's also Back from the Dead, which allows you to have your character come back from the dead. And however many points you spend on that tells you how quickly your character can come back from the dead. There's also one, I'm not hurt, and it basically lets you half the damage when you take a lot of damage. And, drama points can be very helpful. The main core mechanic of this game is when you go to perform a task, you roll a 10-sided die. And you add to that roll an attribute and a skill. Or if it's just an attribute test, just the attribute. And there's a modifier table in here. And if the task is really easy, you might get a modifier. If it's difficult, you might get a negative. And you add in all the modifiers and bonuses from other things. And if your total is a 9 or better, you succeed at the task at hand. If it's less than that, you fail. Now, if you get an even greater roll than 9, there are success levels. And for every 2 or 3 points beyond 9, you get a second success level. You get another success level, And that's pretty nifty. And this book goes into details about all the Buffy characters and describes how they've changed throughout the seasons. It also gives you some templates that are already made up for you that you could run as your player character. And it even gives rules for you to have your players in your group run the characters from the TV show, if that's your thing. And you can make up your own characters and add them and whatever. And it talks about the setting in Sunnydale from the TV show. And gives you all the details, players, different baddies. And it even has a section in here on magic. And the magic in this book works a little differently from the magic in the other Eden Studios books. And it explains the difference in here. They did it for like a cinematic thing to fit more with the Buffy TV show, which is pretty cool. And it uses the same rule systems as the other Eden Studios books, the Uni system. So you could do a crossover with your All Flesh Must Be Eaten game and Buffy the Vampire Slayer to have a big zombie uprising in Buffy. You could cross it over with the Angel game, because they made an Angel role-playing game too, which is weird. I figured it would be part of this, but I guess since it had its own TV show, it got its own game. And then you could also do a crossover with the Army of Darkness game, which I still may do now. Now that I have the Buffy game, I may run a game where I have Buffy go up against the Evil Dead. Wouldn't that be a trip? But the back of the book has an adventure for you to run, get things going. Has a list of different monsters you can add to your game, named bad guys, and so forth. It's got a character sheet in the very back that you could photocopy and use. It's got some other weird stuff in here for you. It's got the tables in the back so you can find them easy. And it's even got a kind of a dictionary in the back, kind of a glossary of what they call Buffy speak, so you can know the different weird things they say in the TV show, different aspects and stuff. So that's kind of nifty. And it's, like I said, it's got everything you need, lays everything out for you, season by season. So that's nifty. It just depends on what season you want to drop your game in, I guess. And that's pretty much all I got to say for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer role-playing game, which brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? If that's what the group wanted to go with, I would probably try it out at least once. I wasn't a huge fan of the TV show, but I can see where it was popular. Would I run this game? It wouldn't be my first game to want to run, but if I had a player group interested, then yeah, I'd probably run it just for the heck of it. Would I recommend this book? Now, if you're a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, yes, I would very much recommend this book. It's a role-playing game, so you can have fun playing in the Buffy universe. But at the same time, it's got a lot of information pertaining to the TV show laid out for you. So there's that. And if you're not a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, then you could probably do without it. So thank you for joining me to look at this game, and hopefully you join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.